maybe just a few minutes before we can get started.
I invite all who wish to participate in prayer to reflect on these words. Creator, Redeemer, and Sustainer, Sun, Light, and Burning Ray, we are ever thankful for your presence with us. We give thanks for the gift of this day and ask your blessing on this evening. We gather from many faiths, backgrounds, and traditions, honoring our unity amidst our diversity, to celebrate these young adults as they step forward into new places with new people and new experiences. Amid the chaotic turbulence of the world and the uncertainty of tomorrow, let us reflect with gratitude on all the blessings we leave behind. A school that has provided a safe place to learn and a strong foundation to build upon for this next phase of life. Teachers who have so richly loved and cared, families cheering us on to the finish line, and friends among our classmates. The hardships and tears, the jokes that will be laughed about in years to come, and the relationships we will carry with us beyond these walls. We are grateful for all of these. Lord, bless our time together. Amen. You may be seated.
Thank you, Reverend Henry. Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Allison Gill, and I have the privilege and the honor of serving as Provost of Lees-McRae College. I want to welcome all of you this evening as we celebrate the first baccalaureate ceremony since 2019. For me, this is a time to reflect on where we have been, and to offer just a few words of advice before you graduate. Dear Allison, I'm writing to my younger self where I used to be when I was sitting where you are now. I want to start by telling you this. You and I remember that when you sat in class and felt strongly about something, you felt this sudden rush of words because you knew that you just had to speak out. You knew that you would not be able to hold those words back, and your heart was slamming around and it was hard to breathe because remember how you were worried about what others might think about what you had to say? Listen to this. Don't worry so much about what others think about you. You don't actually know what other people think about you, and years later they will come back to you and tell you how much you impacted their lives when you spoke up and spoke out. Allison, you have made some bad choices already, and you have got to learn from them. Let me remind you of this one. Remember when you were a freshman and you were given a free ticket to see a band on their final tour, and you didn't go because you would be getting back late and you had a quiz in your religion class the next day. You missed The Who. You missed the farewell tour of The Who. And despite that terrible choice, which lies heavily on you to this day, many, many, many years later, you will go on to do wonderful things and make better choices. Allison, things are not always going to be easy after you graduate. I'm sorry to tell you that because it's hard for you to imagine right now. After all, you have your whole life perfectly planned out with the names of your future children and my perfectly planned life. You are going to law school. You will apply to 8, certain of your success, and you will only get into 2 and you won't end up going. You've already decided to take a gap year as you apply to law school and work in DC, but the real reason that you can't even admit to yourself right now is that you're doing this to spend more time with, him. Spoiler alert, you will break up. And even though you are convinced that one day you will never, ever, ever get back together. You cry, and you think that your life is over, and then you meet someone who will change your life forever, and now you can't imagine your life without them. You are such a planner. Plans make you feel safe. And all of those perfect plans won't happen, but that's okay, and it's a good thing because it opened up whole new paths for you and took you to places you never even dreamed of. You will live in a village in Greece. And your child will walk out with the shepherds and their flocks in the morning, and that will be just a normal Monday. And your father-in-law will be from Belfast, Ireland, and you will love him. You will love him from the moment that he said the word cow. I could tell you not to use those new credit cards that you're so excited about having gotten in the mail as a recent graduate, but you wouldn't listen. Or to buy stock in something called Apple someday, but stock was not even on the horizon for you then, and you didn't even have a computer because nobody did, and certainly no money to invest. So do this instead, Allison. Tell your grandfather how much you love him. Pick up the dang corded phone and do it today because time is running out and you don't know it. Stop worrying so much and lean back into the river of your life and just let it take you downstream for a while. Stop your constant worrying. You've got this. Trust yourself. You have everything that you need to start this new chapter. Trust that and just float for a while, and your life will be incredible. I have one more thing to add, and this is not to my younger self, but to all of you. At Convocation in the fall, I welcomed all of the students to campus, and I talked about how everyone walked in the door as separate people. And in starting the year, in being part of this community, we became one. So as one body made up of so many unique, passionate, glorious, diverse members, go forth, commence, scatter to the winds, ride that river, and know that you can always come home. There's always a chair for you at the table, and we will always welcome you back. I now want to welcome to the stage the Highlanders under the direction of Dr. Michael Hanna. The Highlanders include Lillian North, Bella Mitchell, JoBeth Hilton, Allison Dion, Nevaeh Tomlinson-Clifton, Sydney Lyles, Brooks Jackson, Tanner Funderburk, Dustin Trafton, and Jesse Michael Morris. They will be singing The Climb.
What's waiting on the other side? It's the climb. The struggles I'm facing, the chances I'm taking, sometimes might knock me down, but no, I'm not breaking. Just gotta keep going, and I've got to be strong. Just keep pushing on. times I'm gonna have to lose. Ain't about how fast I get there. Ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's the climb. Keep the faith, 'cause it's all about the climb.
One of the traditions of the baccalaureate is that one staff member and one faculty member are chosen by the graduating class to offer comments. The first speaker this evening will be someone that all of you know quite well, is Lynn Henshaw, who serves as our college registrar. Lynn is herself a graduate of Lees-McRae. She loves riding bicycles with her husband Larry and their family. She loves chocolate. And she once told me that she had a dream that her office was a doggy daycare and that she was looking after all the dogs on campus, and you can't even make that stuff up. So please welcome Ms. Lynn Henshaw.
Thank you, Dr. Gill. It's an honor to be here this evening. Many of you could have chosen another school, but you chose Lees-McRae College. And for that, I say thank you. And thank you to your family and your loved ones. We appreciate the trust that you placed in us so that we can help your graduates reach this point in their lives. Many of you have asked what exactly a baccalaureate service is. For me, it's a time of celebration and to offer you, the graduates, our most sincere gratitude and blessings as you move forward into this next chapter. You may be expecting a rather lengthy and possibly boring speech with a multitude of quotes and words that are just so academically rich in meaning that you have to Google some of their definitions. Let's all take a deep breath, because that is not me. I want to speak to you straight from my heart. I'd like to share a brief story with you about how I arrived at Lees-McRae. First and foremost, I am an alum, class of 1983. And when I left here, I always dreamed of coming back to work at the college, but I just didn't know in what capacity. And then in 1991, in November, I got a phone call from my neighbor who was a member of the Lees-McRae family. She told me about a job opening here, so I came and applied, and a few days later, I was offered the job. So I began working, and I worked for about a week and a half, and then we got 3 days off for Thanksgiving. And I was like, wow, what a fantastic job. And then we worked a few more weeks, and you guessed it, we got a few more days off. And I thought, wow, this is great. So we came back after the new year, and we worked a little bit longer, and guess what? We got more time off. And I thought, this really is my dream job. I simply didn't know what to do with my massive salary and all the time off that I was getting. But in all seriousness, this has been, and it does continue to be, my dream job. I'm so glad that I listened to my intuition about working for the college one day, and I encourage you to listen to that little voice inside your head too. Find a career that ignites your passion, match your passions with your priorities, and then go get your dream job. It may take 1 or 2 or 5 or 6, but just be patient. You'll find it. Each of you have made an impact on the life of at least one person that works here at Lees-McRae College. Most of you, many, many more. And it sounds very cliche-ish, but you are the reason that we exist. It's been a privilege to work with you through good times and maybe some difficult ones too. But nothing makes me smile bigger and brighter than to see you walk across the stage at commencement and take that next step in achieving your dreams. Stay in touch with us and visit often. When you leave here tomorrow, my hope is that we've equipped you with the knowledge and wisdom, courage and determination to go out and find your dream job. Whenever you find it, be sure to tell us all about it. And go out into this great big world and spread that Bobcat pride all over. Until we meet again, may God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Our second speaker this evening is a faculty member who just joined us last year and yet is already known by everybody. Professor Kevin Daly is an instructor of communication, and he's also an incredible cook who, if you are fortunate enough, showers you with brownies, as Lynn told me yesterday. He is tireless in his advocacy and care of our students and routinely cooked for them when they were in COVID quarantine. Known to his students and the community as PKev, please help me welcome him to the stage.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to be a little bit like our incredible theater group and just speak here instead of using a podium. I do teach communication, so I hope I can pull this off. But I first want to start out with, yes, my name is Kevin Daly, and I'm a proud faculty member here at Lees-McRae College, and I feel honored today to speak to our graduates and our students and also really try the best to represent our faculty. And before I go on, I also want to say that I'm not really here as a professor. I'm more here tonight to speak to you as a colleague, as an ally, as someone who is your equal and on your level. But actually, right here, I'll be more on your level. So I'm going to speak. No, I'm going to continue to stand. I'll continue to stand and be professional. But as you can see, I am a little older than maybe some faculty and definitely the students. I actually went to high school with Jesus. So he was a few years ahead of me, but he was a good guy back then. I knew him as Jesus, so that was like our bond. But actually, I actually spoke to him this morning. I prayed because I want to make this a good evening for everybody, especially you, the graduates. I really do. And my main purpose, similar to everybody here today and everyone behind me, is to send you off in the best possible way and wish you the best as you move forward. And my short, brief message tonight will be encompassing three things that I want you to remember from at least my talk. And that is, number one, is to be yourself. Number two is to never stop learning. And number three is to always know that you have a home here at Lees-McRae. So first, the point of be yourself. I will emphasize to you the best gift anyone can give themselves is to be themselves. You don't, as Dr. Gill mentioned, a lot of us when we're young, we have insecurities. You don't have to worry about what someone else says or what someone else thinks. You're good enough as you are. Don't listen to others that might try to bring you down. Be yourself. It's the best gift you can give yourself. And with that, I do want to say that life is not always easy. Irma Bombeck, a famous comedian when I was growing up, said, "Life is like a bowl of cherries. Just make sure you avoid the pits." Anyone that has chewed a cherry with a pit, you know what I mean. So what I'm trying to tell you is there will be tough times ahead. but they can be a lot better and a lot easier if you're yourself. So please remember that. And also to never give up, to be a survivor versus a victim. And as you never give up, I also want you to remember, with all the things that you learned here in your 4 years of learning here at Lees-McRae, is that maybe that you never will stop learning. Always continue to learn. Keep yourself open to new ideas and new things, like being open and learning more about life, about yourself, about people. Maybe learn a new language, learn about others and meet new friends. And that will really help you, in your life. In fact, Wayne Gretzky, the National Hockey League's all-time leading goal scorer, I think he said it best when he said, you will miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. And you can think of your Student Government Association president, London, England. He missed 100% of the shots he took in basketball this past year. No, he did not. He did not. He actually had a great season. All right. You will get to know him more tomorrow, and those of us that know him know that he is one of the best people any of us could meet in this room. I sincerely mean that, and we are going to miss you dearly. You know that. But as you are learning new things, I also want to make sure that it's very important to continue on and know that no matter what happens when you leave this campus, you will always have a home here at Lees-McRae. And I can actually feel that I know in all of the other people associated with Lees-McRae College here that I'll be very frank and say, we'll always have open arms for you. No matter what happens, you will always have a home here to come back to at Lees-McRae. This is a part of you, just like it is a part of us. Now, to conclude, I want to say that a lot of you have been through just an amazing last couple years. Number one, your 4 years of education, of college. Number two, you did it during COVID. So just to survive that alone is pretty powerful. And you got your degree during one of the toughest times in American history with the pandemic. So, with that being said, to send you off properly, I want you students, graduates, to sit here. But I would like everybody else that's not a student to stand right now with us. And I want you to join me in giving a round of applause and encouragement and cheers for this group. For this group of students. These are our students, these are our sons, these are our daughters, these are our friends, and these are our friends. Thank you very much, everybody, and good luck. Thank you, everyone.
Well, the text says we've now come to the highlight of the evening, but that's hard to say right now. Thank you. That was really wonderful. I would like now to welcome Dr. Michael Hanna to talk us through the hooding ceremony.
First of all, congratulations, almost graduates. You got to wait until tomorrow to get the full honor. But tonight we get one step closer to getting you to that point. And I enjoy doing what I get to do in this ceremony. I volunteered to do it several years ago, and I get to talk about clothes. And that's not as strange as it sounds, really, because what I'm talking about is a very specific kind of clothing. It's this stuff that we're wearing that you're wearing and that most people know very little about. And they look at it and go, why in the world do academic people dress up like this? Do they think it's Halloween every time? Well, there's a reason we wear what we wear. And I'm going to go over a little bit of it so that you kind of get an idea of why we do put this stuff on special occasions. And it is a special occasion thing. We don't normally wear these things every day. I don't think I've ever seen anybody wearing them every day around here. If you're in a school on the continent, in Europe, in England, you might see, if you've ever seen a Harry Potter movie, you know, the kids walking around wearing the robes all the time. Well, we don't make you do that, but we do wear these things on special occasions. We call it academic regalia. Isn't that a nice snooty word? To call it regalia. We call them academic robes or gowns, either way you want to look at it. We've got the hood, the thing that goes around your neck and tries to choke you if you don't pin it right. And these things all mean something. They all have a history. And I want to talk a little bit about the history. First off, these things go back to the Middle Ages, even before that, back into what we might call the Dark Ages or the Middle Ages and into the Renaissance. Remember that if you know anything about your history, hopefully you remember your history courses, that the people who were educated back in those times were clerics. They were members of the clergy. They were priests or monks. They're the ones who sat in those cold, drafty monasteries with no central heating and copied manuscripts and studied and wrote books. They were the repository of knowledge. And so the robe that they wore was very heavy, usually made out of wool, had this hood on the back that you could pull up over your head to keep your head warm, because it was cold in those things. Northern Europe got a little bit chilly. And so they would wear these very heavy robes. But then that meant that if you saw somebody out in town wearing these things, you assumed, that's a monk, or that's a priest, or that's a member of the clergy, and he has to be educated. And I'm not being gender specific there because it was mostly the he's who got the education at the time. Women were able to go, of course, through the nunneries, but the men, this is where we're getting a lot of this stuff, is these heavy robes that they wore. And it became a sign that you were educated. And so anybody who saw you knew, that person has been able to go to school somewhere. And then as we moved on up into the Renaissance, well, education became a bit more available, and more people could get it, and more people could go to college. And so they kept the robes, though. They just changed them. They weren't quite as dull or as heavy, although sometimes we wonder. But they were still a symbol of an educated person. And so everything became very codified, very symbolic. Colors, sizes, decorations, all of those things. And over the centuries, especially in Europe and in America, we've got whole systems of codes. Colors mean certain things. The cut of the robe means a certain thing. The hood means a certain thing. So we're so color-coded that you guys who don't really know us, if you don't know what we do or who we are, you can look at us from a distance and tell a whole lot about us. Even if you don't know what we teach or what degrees we have, you can tell a little bit because of that. So right now I need my models. I've got models. I've got Josh out here, who's going to come up, and Dr. Gill is going to help me, and then I need one. I've got Tanner down here. He's one of my theater people, so I make him volunteer. And the models are just going to be here to show you. I told them they didn't have to do a song and dance. They just have to be here. So if Josh, you'll be in the middle, and then Tanner on that end, and Dr. Gill down here. So what you can do is you can look at the size of the gown to start with and tell a whole lot. The baccalaureate, which is the first level of academic ranking, is a gown usually a little below the ankle, or a little below the knee, rather. It's a fairly simple gown. It has these bell-shaped sleeves that are open at the end. It doesn't have a lot of decoration to it. Josh is modeling a master's gown. He has an MFA from UNCG. The gown gets a little bit bigger. You notice the farther you go up the scale in the academic ranking, it gets poofier. It gets a little fancier. I don't know if that's ego talking when we do that or not, but that's the way it works. But what I love about the master's gowns are these, what I call the batwing sleeves. They dangle. This is pure Renaissance fashion. You go back and look at some Renaissance paintings, you will see people wearing sleeves that look like this. So it's got a little cuff on it where you can stick your hand out, but then it's got this wonderful pocket. So you can carry your keys, your change, your candy, your chewing gum, your cell phone, all those wonderful little pieces. Just have to be careful you don't hit anybody with it. The doctoral gown is the poofiest. It's the biggest gown. It also has more decoration to it. There's usually 2 panels of velvet down the front. They can be different colors or they can be black. You've got your options. We also have a lovely sleeve that's called a bishop sleeve. Looks like what a bishop would wear in church. And it has what are called chevrons or stripes of velvet on the sleeve. They can be decorated with a little trim. They can be simple black. They can be different colors. But that gives you a little bit more oomph, I guess. And usually the gown's a little bit longer. Now, if you guys will turn around, the hood, remember I said the hood used to be practical. It's not now. Don't try to pull it over your head. You will strangle yourself before tomorrow morning. But the hoods, you notice the hood. Now, this is, I'll get Tanner's hood on him in a minute. But you notice the hood for a bachelor's degree is about 3 feet long. It has a little pocket here. So you guys, when you're holding your hood, I want you to hold it like this so that you can see this. Here's the string. That goes around your neck. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. And then you've got the black velvet, and you got the color in the middle, and then you got the little tube down here. Okay, just so you see, that's how it goes. If you start doing this to it, it's wrong. So we don't want that. So we'll do that in just a second. Then the master's hood is a little bit longer. It still has the pointy little pocket in the back. It has the colors on the collar for both. Usually this color will tell you what area of study this person has accomplished. So you'll see in your program tomorrow at graduation, there is a little list of colors. And the velvet means different things. So you can kind of tell, again, we're color-coded. On the inside, for all of them, you'll see there are 2 stripes of satin. So for Dr. Gill, she has her degree from the University of Memphis. So we've got the gold and the blue. Josh from UNCG, University of North Carolina, Greensboro, has the gold and the white. The brown is for fine arts. Yours white was history. For history. Mine is PhD for philosophy. And then until you get up to that higher level where you specialize, you get the black. So again, you can look at these and kind of tell. If you know the colors, you know where we went to school. Mine, black and gold, black and red from Texas Tech. Yay. So you guys can turn back around. So you, again, just by looking at the silhouette, looking at the cut of the robe, looking at the colors, the decoration, you can tell a whole lot about what we've done, where we've been, and how far up that academic scale we've gone. You guys can go sit back down. I need you. You can get in the middle. Okay. I thank my models. They do a wonderful job. All right, for these, what we're going to do is, this is a sort of you get help at the beginning of this little bit of the ceremony, and then it's kind of a do-it-yourself. Or you do it for each other. You help each other. The deans are going to come to the front row, and they're going to stand in front of you guys. The front row will stand up. What you'll do is you will hand them your hood. Now, this is the way this works. Turn around, please. Remember, I said this is the front. This is going down your neck, in front of your chin. Actually, you need to turn around, back around. There we go. This is going to go like this. So that the little string is hanging down in the front. The point goes down to the chest. And then if you'll turn around, you just flip that out a little bit, just enough that you can see the satin in the middle. But it doesn't get all flipped inside, and this doesn't go sticking out like this. Again, we want you neat. Put neat and put together. Okay? Now, you can turn back around, Tanner. If you are wearing a shirt that has a button on it, this little thing here becomes very handy because you can do what I did, which is to pin it to a shirt button or just loop it under a shirt button, and that keeps the thing from, makes it a whole lot easier. Or you can use a safety pin and pin it to whatever you're wearing. It works. But that's all this is. As soon as you sit down, it gets messed up. That's the way it goes. We just get used to it. But this is the way the hooding will go. So the deans will come here. You guys will stand. You will hand them yours. You will turn around and face the back of the auditorium. We've got more deans than we got front row. Then what will happen is when the first row is done, then the second row stand up, hand these guys your hood, then you turn around and face the back, and they put the hood over your head. And we just continue up the line. This is not a race, so you don't have to be in a hurry. And you just want to make sure that people are neat and coordinated and put together. So when you're done, second row, you may stand. You guys face them. You hand them your hood. Remember where the point is and the little string. And then you just kind of flip the little hood out in the back. And when you're done, third row, stand up, hand your hood to them. And the deans are just going to go up the aisle, and if you have any problems, they'll help. If anybody's having any respiratory problems, they'll help you. Or we do have nursing graduates, nursing faculty, they're all good to help too. So we don't want to have to resort to that. So. And the idea is this is not obviously all of the graduates. So for tomorrow, when we're in the gym and y'all are getting dressed, you are going to get to be the academic regalia police. And you can help other people if you see them obviously inside out and crooked. You can go help fix them because you will know. Some of you may have to hood more than one. These rows, you can turn back around. Yeah. Yeah, you guys, once you're done, you can turn back around. Unless you like looking at the back of the theater, that's fine. Oh, yeah. You can go sit down, Tanner. The rows kind of expand as you go upwards, so you may end up having to hood more than one. Oh yeah, you could. I think you could sit back down if you'd like for right now. For the moment. Well, the hood will go a little wonky, but that's okay. We're getting there. Last row. Yeah, I do think some sort of bending down is in order. Everybody fixed? Ready? This is why we call it a hooding ceremony. It is quite literally putting the last piece of your regalia on. You get to wear your mortarboard for a while tomorrow anyway. We'll be indoors. Again, we congratulate you. We thank you for picking Lees-McRae and for sticking with us however many years you have been here. Maybe several, but that's okay. We appreciate you. We thank you for being here. We thank you for what you've contributed to Lees-McRae, and we wish you much, much success and luck, and congratulations for tomorrow.
Thank you, Dr. Hanna. I would now like to welcome our very own President Lee King to the podium to offer his closing comments to you this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Gill. Graduates and families, it's wonderful to see you here tonight. Commencement's one of my favorite times of the year, as I see your excitement, your giddiness, the happiness of your families, and even the tears that we will shed is a poignant piece of this weekend as we begin to think about friendships that we'll leave behind and this institution that we leave behind. But know that Lees-McRae is always with you. Baccalaureate also gives me an opportunity to say some special words to our graduating class. And I hope that you'll bear with me just for a few moments as I deliver you, hopefully a message to our graduates that will be meaningful for you as you take this next step in your life and take this into the next months and years ahead. Maybe you will find yourself wishing and even hoping that someone will come forward and give you the magic roadmap. And that magic roadmap, you would want it to tell you how to act whenever you encounter the joys and the struggles, the highs and the lows of the path ahead. There continue to be many times in my own life where I pause and I wish that someone could tell me with candid and absolute certainty how to deal with a dilemma that's on my plate, or just what to do in general when I'm unsure about how to respond in a situation. I think I have that advice for you, and I hope the following will be somewhat meaningful for you to reflect on as you face your life from this point forward. One of my new favorite verses from the Bible comes from the Old Testament prophet Micah. It's tucked there in the books of the Bible you never quite get to in Sunday school. We're all familiar with those four guys named Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, but few people ever think about Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, and Zephaniah. When you say those four names quickly together, it kind of conjures up a really funky law firm somewhere. Imagine the receptionist who says, "Thank you for calling Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, and Zephaniah." Micah 6:8 makes a powerful statement. And after making that powerful statement, it asks an important question. And it's a question that we all will ask ourselves at some point in our lives. And then Micah clearly answers it. Listen to this. He has shown you, O mortal, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? There's that question. To act justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with your God. I really like how Eugene Peterson's The Message translation of this makes it even more simple. Listen to this. But he's already made it plain how to live, what to do, what God is looking for in men and women. It's quite simple. Do what's fair and just to your neighbor. Be compassionate and loyal in your love. And don't take yourself too seriously. Take God seriously. Right there is that important roadmap for your journey ahead. And it's really simple. Notice the action verbs that are in both of those translations. Acting in a just manner. Doing what is fair to everyone you encounter. Loving with compassion and loyalty. Walking humbly, never too serious about yourself, but very serious about God. As you start your professional lives and begin your own family, I promise you that you're going to see almost daily injustices, unfairness, and opportunities that you'll have to be mean-spirited and spiteful. You'll encounter people and circumstances where harshness is the norm and compassion is in short supply. And I promise you that there will be times, trust me on this, where your opinion of yourself will be so big that they'll exceed even your mama's feelings for you. Know that you have a choice in every one of these situations, a choice to show honor, to help, to love, to be the hand that lifts someone up. And in being humble, you have a chance to reflect the very love and nature of God himself. Graduates of the class of 2022, I wish you the best as you begin this new journey ahead. Let your path be always illuminated by justice, love, mercy, and humility. Thank you.
Following the ceremony, we'd like to invite everyone to join us for refreshments and fellowship in the King Chevelle Lounge. You'll have to brave the rain next door. I'd like now to welcome the Reverend Ted Henry back to the podium to offer a closing benediction.
Thank you, Dr. Gill. Let us pray. Creator of all, great spirit in the winds, we thank you for the faculty, the staff, and all who have had the privilege to give of themselves to teach and inspire these young minds. We ask your wisdom to be upon these students as they step into this new chapter of life. Guide them as they face the challenge of new tasks and responsibilities. Empower them with the strength to overcome any fear or anxiety of failure. Infuse in them the courage to eliminate any self-imposed limitations. Grant them the wisdom to recognize great opportunities are often hidden under the guise of impossible situations. Enable them to act morally and ethically, helping them realize the decisions they make day in and day out will determine if they live a life of excellence or one of mediocrity, and help them know true success comes from serving humankind and treating others with kindness and compassion. Show your mercy and grace in our lives, Lord, and give us a humbleness that we may continue to seek wisdom from you. And all this in your precious name we pray. Amen.